Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of Decision Intelligence Directives, brought to you by Pyramid Analytics. It's my great pleasure today to welcome Adrian McGarry of Ascot London Consulting to the studio. Ascot London is a family-run consultancy that helps clients to hone their technology in order to maximise their business efficiency. Welcome, Adrian. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Kate. Great to be here.
Great. So why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about your background and how you came to set up Ascot London?
Yeah, sure. Well, 28 years really in the IT industry. That's where I started, Chief Information Officer, Group IT Director. Started in the document management industry, moved on to management in software houses, charities, and the education sector. Founder and product owner of GDPR products, now entrepreneur and CEO of Ascot London Consulting. So Ascot London was founded to help aid the board, leadership team, and senior management deal with their business needs and protect their brands. People have always been at the heart of our ethos, and we develop a people-centric approach to all of our services.
Oh, so that's a really good segue on to my next question, actually. Had to read my mind. What are the key services that you offer, and on which of these do you personally spend the most of your time?
Well, our chief people and chief information services, as well as data protection, are our key services, and the ones which we spend the most time on. Our cyber resilience offerings are also in demand and have certainly seen a high upturn post-pandemic.
And do you have a favourite?
A favourite? Well, certainly the cyber resilience always gets the juices flowing.
Okay, we'll learn a bit more about that a bit later then. But why don't you give me some examples of projects you've run in that area, either working for other people or during your consulting experience? And also, could you please concentrate a little bit on the results and benefits that have been delivered? Because I know people find those particularly interesting.
Yeah, sure. So we run coaching, mentoring, wellbeing forums, giving the clients, employees a voice, really. So providing a great benefit to all stakeholders within the business. In the latter, by helping to identify and resolve issues or avoid potential issues before they've occurred. So Nikki, our Chief People Officer, helps define and mould these services to enable them to be delivered bespokely. The results are stunning. Basically, customer satisfaction from these services are proven in the positive feedback we receive, and where clients have been struggling with high turnover, the reversal of that retention issue reaps obvious rewards. Now, on a second case, we've been working with a number of clients who have a large number of firewall logs. Now, these logs are sometimes pulled from many appliances and other times pulled from a central repository. In both scenarios, terabytes of data are moved to a large data lake for generally further analysis if and when needed. In today's digital world, though, current practices mean that companies' data is either moved to an on-site data lake or moved to a cloud-based service. Both scenarios incur costs. But in the cloud scenario, the client pays to move the data into the cloud service, then pays for the storage of this data. And for each month of the accumulated firewall logs, the service offering was costing them a 5-figure sum. On top of this, automated reports were being generated from another cloud service, which also charged for the analytics platform and ingestion of the data logs, costing a further 4 figures a month. Now, from ALC's perspective, on our client's dichotomy, the pyramid platform certainly is a great solution. You eliminate the time and cost of moving the data logs and creating separate data lakes by accessing the data at source. The analytics platform is part of the solution, so you save further time and money in duplicating the data for further analysis. Creation of reports, whether automated or manual, can be performed a lot quicker, but the cost savings are easily 6 figures annually, and the platform usually has a ROI return within 2 months. Now that's good in itself, but with the enactment of the Telecommunications Security Act in 2021 in the UK, the duty to retain and report incidents have reached a whole new high level, where this solution can provide the much needed help to network and cybersecurity teams far more efficiently.
That's really, really interesting. And we've got plenty of time, so I was going to invite you. I know you and I go back at a fair way. Could you talk a little bit about some case studies in the GDPR area? Because I know that it's something that when it first came out, people were quite worried, and perhaps the focus has moved away from it slightly, but it's still a big problem, isn't it? Particularly for smaller organisations, not for profit. How do you go about advising organisations like that? What's the process to helping them, comply, and what do you see as the kind of the big hairy problems, if we talk about it?
Really and truly, it's getting in at board level. You've got to get buy-in from that board, no matter how big or small the organisation is. As I say, I've spent a lot of years in the charity and not-for-profit sector, as well as education. So money isn't huge in those organisations. So board level buy-in is absolutely key to any approach, but especially around data protection and GDPR when it came in. That was a huge hurdle that you had to overcome, and you could find quite early on the organisations that were going to buy into the process, let alone actually not treat it as a tick box exercise. So it is very interesting from that side of things. As soon as you've got that buy-in, then the educational part starts really, and knowing what the organisation is actually doing with their data in terms of, for want of a better word, auditing some of their data, what they're doing with that data, looking at some of the processes that they have around that. So furthermore, once you've actually got the training and organisation processes flowing as such, then it's a lot easier to actually get them, I wouldn't say qualified because there is no such word really, but on the right tracks to working as under good information governance.
That's really good, thank you. Let's go back a little bit to the cyber resilience topic. I know you run a cybersecurity network. I've seen you have regular webinars. Can you talk a little bit about that, and also on the topics that you've found that people are most interested in, and how you can help?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's called the Cyber Information Exchange, or CIX for short. It's a cyber knowledge sharing group, and it's a way of sharing, teaching in a way, and helping people defend against cyber threats and threat actors. But it wasn't my idea originally. The idea was born out of a group that a gentleman called Peter Wood conceived, and I used to attend that group. And as a collective, they shared the knowledge in just about every area of security that you can possibly conceive. More recently, I approached Peter to see if we could refresh the idea, and during lockdown, and the legacy of our creation was born in cix.org.uk. In terms of the episodes, I suppose each episode draws upon our experiences, and every episode is certainly quite different. So from raising cyber resilience at a board level, to red teaming, security frameworks and certifications, to actual threats and threat actors. Best of all, it's free, but it's not just for IT professionals. Just subscribe and tune in.
So that's cix.org. For anyone that's interested. Okay.
cix.org.uk, yeah.
Okay, so I know that recently you've been making introductions for Pyramid to people in your network that you think would be of interest. And one of the main areas that we've seen in terms of how decision intelligence could help people would be in the area of ESG and supply chain. Did you want to just touch on that, and or any other areas where you see decision intelligence helping your clients more broadly? You've touched on the cyber aspect of it.
Yeah, well, let's go back to the firewall scenario really that I mentioned earlier. It's a classic example that we look at from an ESG perspective. An old adage that I've used for a long time is the term cloud, when it's used is used in reference to servers or storage still. It's just someone else's computer. So just like server or storage system that you kept on premise. So the carbon cost of running any of these systems is measurable and reportable, but it's also a requirement for some organizations to report on these facts in annual financials or when filing for an IPO, or requests from clients as they're occurring more frequently now if they're reporting on their own scope-free carbon supply chains. So the role of decision intelligence in this scenario can certainly help clients measure their carbon usage and possibly be used to calculate the reduction of their carbon usage, bringing a value-added solution to the client.
And we talked a little bit, in fact, earlier this week about the idea of carbon-driven innovation, which I thought was fascinating. Have you got any examples of that you wanted to share?
Loads. I mean, so a lot of what IT offers and what IT has certainly done over the last 30 years that I've been in the industry, it's caused a lot of issue with carbon waste, with use of just basic commodities like electricity, and a lot of smaller things like cobalt, gold, and all those sort of minerals that generally are very expensive and not that easy to come by. Gold perhaps a bit more, but cobalt certainly not so much, especially when it comes to the sort of battery operated regime. But we work with a number of different partners where, for instance, we rather than just refurb tops or service systems, there are also great facilities now that remanufacture these, and are working with a specific partner who does this and can save 80% of the actual carbon.
That's incredible.
In buying what would be a new device, essentially. They're very good. I use them myself, and it's just another great example of how we actually make sure we can make a better environment from an IT perspective.
Yeah, and just to clarify for everyone, when we're talking about carbon-driven innovation, we're talking about the new business models that come out of trying to think about being more responsible and efficient with our carbon emissions, and once got over the challenge of measuring it, then figuring out ways to reduce it. And what the conversation we were having was all about these new businesses that are springing out and innovations that are coming about because of this new way of looking at optimizing, I think it was carbon consumption and cost altogether, being able to optimize that, which again was another great application for decision intelligence in terms of the conversation, wasn't it? Being able to do those optimization models within the platform.
Absolutely, and all trackable. It takes some work to actually get there in terms of the tracking, especially of things like the cloud platforms. But there are tools available out there that can help you track those, and logging that data within something like a decision intelligence platform like Pyramid can really reap the benefits and detail quite deeply and report on that carbon reduction that you can achieve with all of that sort of server estate, network estate.
Excellent. So I've got two more questions for you. One is based around all those years you spent as a CIO, and I guess what would be your top 1 to 3 things in terms of, if someone was coming to you say, I've got a new job as a CIO, what are the top 3 things I should look out for? What would you tell them? Or indeed, what would you have told yourself at the beginning?
Yeah, certainly. Do you have a seat on the board? Basically, that's probably one of the top ones in there. If you don't, and you're reporting into a finance director, maybe look again at that job role.
Interesting. Okay.
Second one, probably look at the financials of the company. Always, there have been many a mistake made by getting into a company that you think is great, not looking at the financials of that company beforehand, and then realizing a bit too late down the line that it's not actually all it's cut out to be. But that's more of a general attitude there. Back to the CIO wise again. Make sure you have the capabilities and the directorial decisions to build on your team. It's not only about adopting what is already there. We have built, as you well know, some great teams over the times in different organizations, and being able to make those decisions freely is absolutely key to running a great IT team.
So autonomy.
Absolutely, yeah, to a certain extent, but being able to work as part of the greater management and the senior management infrastructure is just as key.
Brilliant. All right. Well, last question, hopefully a bit easier. What do you do when you're not working?
Family, really. I mean, family is highly important to us. We spend a lot of time looking after and encouraging our staff as well to take a very healthy work-life balance. Our family's grown recently with the addition of our new family puppy. So we are at present putting our efforts into training her, which, just like good practice in businesses and data, really is making sure you put the right measures in place early on, because that way you reap the best rewards.
And don't speak to people at dinner parties with puppies for sale. Excellent. Oh, that's really good. I really appreciate it. And it's been lovely talking to you as ever. Thank you so much. And
Great to speak
I
to
look
you,
forward
Kate.
to speaking to you very soon. Thank you, Adrian.
Will do. Thank you.
Cheers then. Bye-bye.